what I'll do is I'll go ahead and do a recap about white hat stuff. So we were talking about the first thing, which was free traffic, which is SEO, search engine optimization, and social media. We were talking a little bit about different methods. So there's really what everybody calls it. And guys, by the way, I'm not the SEO like guru by any chance, but I have studied it for a while, and I have ranked websites before. In fact, I have a website that's ranked #1 for its keywords, like no matter what. It's been there for years. It's the #1 spot. It's like my first big project online before I did anything. I actually did this for just getting my old industry out of me so I could move on and then help other people and teach other people about that industry, because I had a lot of knowledge, and I have a lot of knowledge in that industry. So I built this really cool membership site, and I used White Hat. Okay, so what is White Hat? White Hat is like utilizing like high value backlinks. So like big high value backlinks would be from the biggest companies. Now they use a company called Alexa. Alexa is a good place, and Woot is another one. But basically Alexa, you could go there and you could see which websites are ranked the highest. Sites like YouTube, sites like Facebook, sites like Google, sites like who else? Like Apple. And also too, remember this Alexa is owned by Amazon. So Amazon's actually one of the biggest, highest, most valuable, precious domain out there because of the volume of traffic that they have on there. And that's really what they're measuring. Each website is traffic, how long they stay there, how much attention people have. Are people buying stuff? Are people clicking around? How many pages they've been to? They're measuring all of that stuff. And there's like algorithms out there that are testing this stuff constantly that we're not aware of. But just letting you know, like some basic stuff about it, is that is what it's based off. So, and for my site, we used like high value backlinks to backlink back to that site. And really cool. I mean, when I built the site, I knew right away that I wanted to do white hat type stuff. Now, then there's gray hat. Gray hat could be, there's like two spectrums of gray hat. There's stuff that's really more black, and then there's stuff that's like more white on the white side, but it's really gray hat. Gray hat would be good stuff to test with. Sometimes like you can, if you're not sure if it's white hat, it seems like it's a little bit gray hat ideas. It's good to test with them. You can strip out the links if they don't work, because Google can blacklist your site. And if they blacklist your site, then your site's going to be down for a while until you fix those links and then notify Google. Google has a site called Webmaster, and on their Webmaster site, you can actually have your site recrawled again and just make sure that those links are fixed. And then it's probably like 24, 40 hours, I don't know, maybe even weeks before it actually pops up and increases your search visibility on your site. So that's a little bit the thing about gray hat. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with gray hat, because there are techniques, and it's good to actually kind of venture off to what else out there is. There's also another thing. I was talking to some of my good friends that are in SEO, and they said there's a thing called over optimization. So Google actually will say, wow, your site is overly optimized. You obviously are trying to get free traffic. We don't really like that. So Google changes their algorithms and stuff like that all the time. So sometimes it's actually good to kind of play in the gray area a little bit. Just, I would say stay away from the black hat stuff, unless, you want immediate results, quick results, but not long-term achievable things that you want to keep online for a long time. And also you're going to have the chance of that still coming back your way. And your reputation, to me, is everything online. So, but there could be something that's black hat that might work. I've heard this thing called site jacking, like JV jacking or something like that. I hate that word. Like when I hear an affiliate come to me and say, I want to promote for you, I'm going to do some JV jacking or some site jacking, I immediately start thinking that sounds pretty black hat to me. Sounds like you're trying to get immediate results, and then you're going to link that stuff back to my sales pages. So that's something I personally am not a big fan of, but you never know. Like there's actually genuinely reasons for some of these things to actually work for people, and it's not about leads for them. It's about just making quick money going in and out, in and out. So that's kind of like the white hat, gray hat, black hat. There's really no other hats in there, but they do have reasons for each of them. Back in the day, like before Google had like their Panda release, Penguin release, that was those algorithms that kind of basically got rid of all the black hat stuff, because back in the day, a lot of people were making a lot of money on, we'll talk about paid when we get back there, but a lot of people were making a lot of money on doing search engine optimization. I mean, they were making big dollars because they were the first people to realize the technology works. Okay, they realized that backlinking at the time worked. There was a time where you could backlink all the worst backlinks in the world, and Google didn't even research or crawl that information. So they were like, wow, this site has 5 million backlinks. Oh my gosh, let's put them up on the first page. Okay, so you have too, just to kind of let you know, on Google, you have like these top areas. So there's like these top 3 spots, and I'll kind of draw the 3 spots, and there's like information, headlines, text, all that stuff here. These are ads. And then on the side, I think Google's actually got rid of it, but there's also these side ads. So, and then there's also, now they have these bottom ads too, I've seen. So this is all space. So like you're searching, when you do a search, you're searching in here for your information, and that information actually starts pulling right here. So it's like spot 1, spot 2, spot 3, spot 4, spot 5, spot 6, spot 7, and all the way down to 10 or 11 or whatever it is. And then they have like what it spells Google under here, which is like a page. So basically these are like the hottest ones. And so based off what Google is thinking, is they're actually saying, well, why are these, what are they measuring based off that? They're measuring optimization of the site, how well the metadata works. Metadata could be like the headlines, who the site was from, the content. Okay, there's a thing called content curation, which is another type of SEO strategy. But if you are just going straight up ripping someone off, ripping their site off in a sense, and not giving them credit for it, then that content creation is really like hijacking. It's like content hijacking. And then Google sees it and they say, nope, okay, we don't like that. We're going to put you on page 100 all the way down the row, because they don't like it, right? But this page might necessarily not have that, might actually have high quality backlinks that are going to, maybe you have a Google or you have a YouTube site. YouTube is owned by Google, okay? So YouTube might have a really good, you might have a really good channel there or program, and you can actually stick backlinks on your information. You just have to make sure you put the HTTP or PS // domain name. Take that as another note to write down right now. If you're posting anything on YouTube, make sure to stick a backlink on there. You can easily stick backlinks. It's free. And it's an easy way to upgrade the visibility of your site, because it's just an inexpensive, easy way to get traffic on your site. Someone goes to YouTube and they like your content, or they go to YouTube and they find your content based off of what they're looking for, and then they see a backlink for a free offer for a lead magnet, which we'll get into in a minute. Then you're now building a list for free based off of some SEO techniques. So these are just, again, these are very simple. There's some more way more complex techniques out there. I would say that if you really wanted to get into it, start learning from some of the people that have really cool programs together, and then maybe hire someone. You can go to Upwork. If you go to Upwork, you can find a SEO certified person or an SEO person that they crush it. I mean, there's guys out there that crush it. I think I saw that Jeff, one of our friends, Jeff, was online watching live. That guy's a friggin' SEO ninja. He was telling me he built his list based off SEO, and now when he comes into contests, he's usually on the leaderboard or somewhere there, and he basically did a lot of it from SEO. So I'm not going to tell you that SEO is dead. Now, there's a big disclaimer out there that people say SEO is dead, and it's because there's better ways to get traffic quicker and better, okay? SEO, obviously there's things about SEO I don't even know, and SEO is going to continue to grow, and it's definitely not dead. But I would say if you're going to do it, think white hat or even somewhat gray, and think long term if you're going to do it, especially if you want to build a blog or something like that where you're giving away valuable information. You're not necessarily jacking other people, but there's ways to get information. I mean, think about it like news channels and the biggest blogs in the world. They're doing content curation. They're saying, okay, what's news? What's trending today? This is trending topics today. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go write my own thing, find my own images. I'm going to put my own metadata on it. I'm going to put my own headlines. I'm going to write my own content. I'm going to sign it as the author. You can do that. It's completely legal. But what will happen is Google's going to go, as soon as they attach themselves to it, they're going to go, okay, who else out there has the information on that trending topic, and how unique does your information look? If it's not unique, then Google is unfortunately going to go, and they're going to ban your site. They're going to put a big banner and they're going to go, you're gone. Or they're going to friggin' blacklist you. And that's the worst thing you would want your site to do. So unfortunately, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, right? It's going to keep all the bad stuff. And the reason why Google did this, it's not to pull all these internet marketers that were making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on black hat search engine optimization techniques. They did it because they want good content to the folks that are using it. So if I'm going to go to Google and I want to look something up, I want Google to give me the best information they can find on what I'm looking for, so I can immediately have the speed of implementation on what I'm trying to find. That's why I like YouTube a lot, because YouTube seems to be really good. Like if I'm trying to find out, for instance, when I was doing the camera yesterday, I had to have this weird zoom on me, and the zoom was not very good because the zoom was like zooming because it was showing all the stuff on my camera, like the function button and like the little thing that says like stabilization and stuff like that, what kind of memory we're using. Like it had all that stuff on the face, and I had to do a zoom to get through it, and it just looked bad. Today's a little bit better. We're going to continue to try to get better and better as far as our video goes. Sound is awesome today. We fixed that. But the fact is that I went to YouTube because I'm like, I need to find this. Immediately I started thinking about YouTube, went to YouTube, found immediately the answer. That's valuable for me. Okay, before, when we didn't have the internet, I would never know. I would have been lost and I would have thrown the camera away because I couldn't have done it. But you can do it for free and you can find the information. So I'm just, again, I'm going into this stuff a little bit too in depth. But again, I just want you guys to understand this is what search engine optimization is. It's based off of how far and how close you are to those #1 spots. I've got friends that do search engine. These guys are ninjas at it. They have a thing called a 3-pack. One of my friends, he was telling me, or we're acquaintances, but he was telling me, he's like, Carl, I can do a thing called a 3-pack. And I'm like, what's a 3-pack? He's like, spot 1, spot 2, spot 3. Would you like to get your website on there? Duh. How long is it going to take? 2 weeks. Okay, cool. I would hire him for any of my needs like that. Guys like Jeff. Jeff I think he has an online site where he teaches people how to do SEO. So you could actually go there and learn from people that know what they're doing. So that's on SEO. The next thing we talked a little bit about was, and let me just kind of get a new one of these. The next thing we're going to talk about is paid traffic. And paid traffic is a big opportunity right now because you can get traffic quick. Okay, you can get the right kind of traffic you want extremely fast. And I'll quickly kind of show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. Let me just erase this stuff off my board so I have a clean board. It's not like I have OCD or anything like that. I just like a clean board. All right, so talking about the next thing here. Okay, paid traffic. So we lost you guys earlier when we were doing all the training on this, so I'm just going to do another recap. I think it'll be good anyway. So paid traffic are things like Google AdWords. Google has a Google Ads network. Also Facebook ads, solo ads, blogs, Bing, Yahoo, LinkedIn, Pinterest, stuff like that, AOL. I know you guys are probably laughing when I said Bing, Yahoo, AOL, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So Google AdWords is basically a spot where you can put ads. Remember I showed you those spots? You can put ads in those spots. And then Google has a Google Ads network where they own like hundreds of thousands of blogs, and you can do stuff that's called retargeting, where if someone hits your site, you have a pixel on there. Now if they go somewhere else on the internet, your billboards or your banners, your banner ads are going to pop up. And in your banner ads, you can use things called TIFFs. So they actually look kind of flashy. They're moving. They're meant to disrupt and grab your attention. So if they can disrupt, immediately disrupt, grab your attention, then they can pull you through that ad and back to your site to buy something. Maybe they didn't get to a certain point on your site. We'll have a whole training on pixels, but not today. I'm just kind of giving you, again, some more seeds to grow for later on. So we got that. We understand that. Facebook is another really good one to learn because who has all the data? Google and Facebook have spent probably billions of dollars on data. And what's data do for them? Data tells them, it gives them an algorithm so they can know what you like, what you know, and what you trust. So that way, when I come in there and I want to put an ad for a physical product, or I want to put an ad for a lead generation, or if I want to put an ad for something I'm selling, I'll be able to narrow down that ad to that demographic, that audience, what those audience members like, where they surf at, stuff like that. There's certain things you can't do, but there's definitely a lot of things you can do when it comes to creating ads online for Facebook and or for Google. And the thing about Facebook is it's still very new. Their ads platform is still very new, but they have like a inexpensive amount of money to actually get better and better and better. And I've noticed that Facebook has actually gotten better. There's been times where, I've spent literally thousands of dollars on ads with Facebook, and there was times where I was just like blowing money for no reason. But I'm starting to know, the more that I know, the more that I'm becoming unconsciously competent about the information on Google, I'm starting to figure out, or on Facebook, I'm starting to figure it out. Okay, so it takes like a certain amount of money to invest into it, but the investment is great because you need to look at this stuff as a skill set. And the more of these skills that you know, the more money you have the opportunity to make, or even working for someone else. It's a skill set you can stick on a resume and help someone else build a business. Maybe if you don't have you don't have the money to invest like that, but you do definitely need to invest in yourself, which is the number one asset we all have, is ourselves and investing in ourselves. So going in back into the ads, we have solo ads. Now, solo ads, I haven't had a lot of success with them. I'm not saying anything bad about them. In fact, solo ads work. I know they do. They wouldn't be there. There's a lot of people actually doing solo ads. They're doing solo swaps, which is kind of interesting, which is where two people that sell solo ads, or even if you had a list, you could say, hey, I will mail your list if you'll mail my list, and then we'll mail each other's list, and we can build the list that way. There's a lot of techniques out there. Unfortunately for me, I was even buying solo ads from some pretty big, well-known people. I won't say their names, but I was buying solo ads from them and I got screwed. So they just haven't worked good for me, but it doesn't mean that they don't work. It doesn't mean that they're not valuable. There's just, for me, I haven't found the right person to do solo ads. So if you are a crusher in solo ads, send me proof, and maybe I'll spend some money with you. But until then, I definitely won't be promoting it. It's not one of those things that has worked well for me. But again, like I said, I know they work. Then there's also blogs. Okay, so what are blogs? If there's write this down again. This was something I said earlier. It's similarweb.com. So you can go to similarweb.com, and what that's going to do, that site does, and there's a couple of other ones out there. I think you can go to Moz, I think, also does it. There's another one. If someone wants to write it into the chat box, you can. But there's different, what's someone say? So there's different types of places that you can go to get analytics, and it's kind of like being a spy. So you can see, like, what is my competitors doing? So you can go there and say, like, if you were a big company or a small company and you were going to offer a certain product, say you were selling a knife. Well, I'd want to know who are the 10 top knife selling companies online. If I had my own knife that I wanted to start selling online, who are the top 10? Then I could plug in those URLs and those domain names directly into similar.web, and it's going to give me where those traffic sources are coming from. So I could find out if there's a blog out there that's getting a lot of volume of traffic that I could actually sell or buy. Sorry, I could buy a space on there for my banner ad. So I could go to a blog owner and say, hey, I noticed that you guys are doing this for so-and-so, and I don't know how much traffic you're getting, but I would like to buy some space from you guys. And they're going to be open to it, because that's kind of their business. Their business was to build a big blog with tons of traffic, and then their business was to sell space to you. So you could actually go there and negotiate with them. So they might say, you could pay per impression, like if you can do CPM, we talked about that yesterday, the cost per thousand, or you could do the CPA, so it's cost per action. So you could find out what they do, and then you could say, well, how much would it cost me for the month just to keep my ad there for a month, depending on what they do. And they might say, well, you could do it for $500 and we'll promise you, XYZ number of clicks. And then you could say, okay, cool. How about this? I have never used you guys before. I have no idea if it's going to be successful. How about the first month we do it for 50% off, so $250, and then after that I'll pay the $500 a month, or I'll pay $400 a month, but I'll sign a contract with you guys for 4 months, because once I know that it's working, I've got a winner, I can kind of utilize that extra traffic to my site. So that is another very effective way. SimilarWeb, find out what your competitors are doing. If they have some blogs that they're getting traffic from, find out who the blog owner is, and then go and see if you can buy traffic from them. That's another really good traffic source. Then there's what we were talking about earlier, Bing, Yahoo, and AOL. And if you're laughing because you probably don't use it, this is 15% of the other web, right? I think it's 15%. Google is like, and Facebook now is really coming in, but Google is like the other 85% of the search engine traffic. The other is Bing, Yahoo, and AOL. And the thing is about these is that if you're selling to a certain demographic, these actually might be really good. So it doesn't really matter. And they also might be cheaper because it's less competition. So usually you're actually bidding, like on Google AdWords, you're actually bidding for keywords. You're bidding for them. So you're paying a competitive price and you're competing with big corporations and big companies. That's why it's gotten so much harder to actually use this. And that's why a lot of people are using Facebook, because they can actually optimize a little bit better. But if let's say you're selling a supplement, or you're selling shoes for diabetics or something like that, if you're selling products to seniors, I've found that Yahoo is one of the #1 places, and AOL. In fact, a lot of these people have their email accounts still with, I think I have a Yahoo, but I don't even check it. But these people still have my dad still has an AOL, his email address. He finally got a Google one, but he still uses his AOL email address. So what does that say? That says that these people are still actually using those areas for traffic. And so if you're selling something to that particular demographic, there's another good place to buy traffic. It's probably cheap. It's worth testing. It's worth diving into and finding out a little bit more. Then you've got like other social media like LinkedIn and Pinterest. LinkedIn is a very big professional network. There's millionaires on there. There's 100,000-year-heirs. There's billionaires on there. And how can you get your message to those people? LinkedIn is a good way. Also, too, I'll give you some more names. Some good friends of mine, Corey Michael Sanchez, a good friend of mine. He has a Build Your Big Fat List product, I think, and he also has a LinkedIn product that will actually email people that you're connected with in groups and stuff like that. So if you're looking for traffic there, Jimena Sanchez, another good friend of mine, she does LinkedIn training. Another good friend of mine, Greg Wells, totally awesome people. These guys are really cool. They're all of them have capitalized utilizing LinkedIn. They have different ways and different marketing methods on how you can utilize LinkedIn for traffic. Very cool. Reach out to them online. Tell them Carl sent you if you're looking for traffic for professional people, because there's definitely ways to make money with that, because those people have expendable income. They have jobs, right? Then there's also Pinterest. Pinterest is, I almost want to think that Pinterest might be like this like hidden gem. Nobody's really exploiting it yet. I've heard some people doing it, but Pinterest is just, I think it was beta before. Now they've just released and opened up their ads graph. And I think their ads graph is going to be huge. They have like the richest, most wealthiest women by demographics. And women are hyperactive buyers. So if you're selling like physical goods, Pinterest might be something you should definitely go dive into. If you're selling physical goods to females, women specifically, there are definitely some men there. Don't get me wrong. Maybe even more. So they might even have better buyers there. I don't know. It's a very blank area so far, but it's something that needs to be exploited. And I think that it could possibly be a gem for the right people in the right industry and the right products. So you want to make sure, like I said, you want to make sure that you know where they hang out. So that's why SimilarWeb is going to help you with figuring out some of your paid traffic for your product. So you find out who's selling the same product, you're finding out what their websites are, you're plugging it in, and you're finding out social wise too. SimilarWeb gives you social analytics as well. It just gives you like the top 10 places that they get traffic. And then if you want to pay for their services, I think it gives you even more in-depth information. So that's a little bit on that. Then we can get into controlled traffic. So what's controlled traffic? Can anybody tell me what controlled traffic is? So cool. Very cool. So let's go ahead and talk about controlled traffic. So those of you that don't know what controlled traffic is and I got this from Russell Brunson, it's traffic that you own. So let's talk about what is traffic that you own. Traffic that you own is your email list, social media, maybe blog, form. Okay, usually this, maybe there could be a couple others out there, but anything you're building a list of people, you pretty much can control that traffic. So like my list is not huge, but I know that with my list, I can send probably 300 clicks to almost any offer, or I can get at least 300 opens per email that I send. And then I could just send a multitude of emails. I can take my emails and then just send to people that haven't opened and get between 2 and 3, 4, 500 opens. Kind of depends, right? All that stuff is more on the advanced side. So on the advanced side, we'll definitely talk more about like headlines and how you can grab people, and also understanding who is on your list, who your followers are, so you can get them to see the offers that you're offering. And then also make sure you have good offers, like stuff that is usable, stuff that you use, or stuff that you could definitely see your list using and would get a lot of value from. Because for me, I'm not going to offer something to my list that I don't believe in. That's just one of the things for me. It's the same. I use the same principles too with doing a JV. I'm a JV broker, so doing that, I have like kind of a couple rules. One of my rules is that I have to believe in the product. So it's the same thing for me to offer something to anybody on my list. I have to absolutely believe in the product, and I have to understand how people can get an ROI, a return of investment. Okay. So that's really the control. That's your controlled list. Now, what is leverage? Leverage is, okay, this could be considered a part of control, kind of part of paid, because leverage to me, you're kind of paying for, but maybe like indirectly, you're paying for it in a commission, that's for sure. So it could be definitely on that. But basically what that is that's affiliate marketing. So with affiliate marketing, what I do is if I have a product or if I'm offering something, I'll go to an affiliate that I think has a good list that would actually respond really well based off maybe the conversation I've had with that person before. And so I would actually go and say, hey dude, I know you have a SEO list, or I know you have a physical products list, or you have a Shopify list, or you have a Amazon list, or you have a Facebook ads list. I know what your list is. So because I know your list, check this out. This will fit your list perfectly, and I will pay you 50% commissions, and I'll incentivize it on top of that by giving you an opportunity to win money in our cash contest. Most of our cash contest was, the one we did with Chris was like a $100,000 cash contest. The one we did with Chase was a $25,000 cash contest. The one I did with Justin Burns was a $20,000 cash contest. And that's a lot of risk that these guys all had to take, but they have to incentivize the JVs because sometimes it's crowded in for an offer. And so for big JVs to want to be on it, they have to see big cash contests. So they have an opportunity to make more than 50%. Typically in the affiliate space, now there is definitely people that pay less, like 30%. Sometimes on that SaaS model, you'll see like a lot of people will convert down to 30% with a product that definitely sells. And affiliates will still jump onto it at that point. But during a launch is when you want to get as many people as you possibly can onto your sales page, and you want to be able to make sure your sales page is absolutely converting. So that is leveraged, to me, that is leveraged traffic. So for me, there's 4 different types of traffic. You got the free, you've got the paid, you've got the controlled, and then you've got the leverage. But ultimately, what you want to do is you want to focus on building your controlled traffic. So if you can totally focus on these things to build this, once you own the traffic, you don't need anything else, right? If you have a 1 million person list, you don't really necessarily need anything else. Now, I'm not saying not to focus on continuing to build it. It's just basically taking your money and compounding it. So if you have a list and you have a 1 million person list, they say that you can make at least $1. I've seen really good marketers make $4 per person on their list, and I've seen really bad marketers make maybe 50 cents or worse. I mean, I know an ads network out there that has a lot, but they told me they're getting like sub clicks. It's like so bad, but it's kind of like a spammy kind of network. So nothing against that. They know how to make money. They have such a big list. It doesn't matter. They're still able to make money with that list, even though they have such low open rates. But it's definitely like, for me, it's not long-term. In my mind, it's not a very good long-term way to crush your business. You can, though, take a list and refresh it, revive it, You can wake people back up. You can get them more involved with your message, get them more involved with what you're doing. So there's definitely ways to fix your list and also to focus. I've heard of guys, I've heard of big people in the industry that had million-person lists and threw them away because the list was not hyperactive anymore. That list kind of just died. And if you stop giving value or information to your list will shrink up and die, and your list will give you bad remarks on your AR. You know, that's another thing too, guys, is, you know, when I'm saying reputation is going to be everything online. Before, it wasn't one of those things that was measured as much, but it's becoming so much more measured today that you want to just make sure you're clean. Like, everything you do is white hat, because one of the things that happens is you have a domain name linked to all of your email addresses. And unfortunately, regardless if someone remembered signing up for your information or not, they click the button that says, I didn't want this information, please report them. And if you get reported as an anti-spam can and all that stuff, that actually hurts your reputation and could actually have long-term negative results, okay? So keep that in mind. Whenever I see it, I actually look at the name. I want to know who did it. My AR will even show me where they live. I can actually look and see where they live. I can see who they are, because I want to, like, understand, why would you do that? Like, why would you definitely, I didn't spam you. You definitely signed up somewhere. So I want to understand, why would you just give me a bad remark? I even wrote in the spot that says unsubscribe, which I don't mind. Unsubscribe. I don't care. You're going to miss out on all the information like this. Is high value information. You're going to miss out on it if you do unsubscribe. Just don't pay attention. Like, if you see my email come through, just either delete it or just unsubscribe if it's really bothering you that bad. But unsubscribe and just say, I no longer wish to be on this list or something like that. Don't give me a bad remark. You were on there at that point. So that kind of actually upsets me, because my reputation is everything to me. That's like the second thing that I look at when I'm going to promote a product is that going to affect my reputation online or with my peers or people that I'm in business with? So those are kind of some of the little keys. And that's it about that, guys. Do you have any questions? I'm going to give away some more cash. Who's excited about that? I want to give some more money away. So